Hello everybody. Recently I did a video on the Simian Power Up 10,400 power bank, milliamp hour power bank. And it passed my tests with flying colors. I was more than pleased with it. My only pet peeve with it or annoyance with it was that it came with only a 1 amp charge port, which means this whole power bank, 10,400 milliamp hour power bank, takes 12 hours to charge. And I find that a bit of a drag, and makes me not want to use it myself because it takes too long to charge it. So what I'm going to do is release my inner mad scientist and modify this power bank so that it can take a charge directly to the batteries from my LiPo charger. By the way, that voids your warranty. Cracking this thing open, that voids your warranty, I'm sure. Basically, you're on your own if you do this mod. I'm not responsible for any damages or injury, but I'm going to show you what I did to modify it so I can hook the LiPo charger directly to it and charge it at whatever amperage I want to feed that bank of cells or that battery pack inside it. And by the way, I'm going to call it the Frankenstein mod, and you'll see why I call it the Frankenstein mod when I'm done. So the first thing we need to do is disassemble this power bank, and that's pretty straightforward. I showed that on my other video if you want to see a more complete disassembly, but this is going to be complete, just going to be shorter, that's all. So you peel off the rubber coating from the top and then just pull it off. That exposes the screws, the 4 screws that hold it down. Now I only have 1 screw in here to show you how it all comes apart. I've taken the other 3 out, and basically it has a little rubber seal on the top that you need to pop out. I use a toothpick for that, so I'll just pull that out here using the toothpick. The reason I use a toothpick is you're less likely to damage the rubber. So there it is, that little rubber seal. Then we use a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, which is, some people call a jeweler's driver, but anyways, a number 2. And I'm going to unscrew the screw. And of course you're going to do this on every corner of the power bank. And I'm just showing you the quick and easy disassembly. So there, now we've got all the screws out. They all come out the same way. Then we're going to split the case along the middle here. So just pull it apart like so. And there we are. Now we can see the inside, and there's the top cover off. So next we got to take out the batteries and the charge circuit. They're all soldered together, so we're going to do that next. There's a little Phillips screw right here at the center of the circuit, and we're just going to unscrew that, pull it off, put it aside. We don't want to lose these screws. And this part here, you need to pull this section up, and then once it's up, away from the actual front of the case. The reason for that is the LED underneath. So I lift it like this, and then slowly, just like that, pull it out. So there it is. And now the battery pack on the back is basically ready to be pulled out. It's sitting in here. If you've never taken it apart, it'll be adhered with some real strong adhesive to the bottom part of the case. I already undid that adhesive, so now this battery pack just comes out. And basically, I'm going to do that here. There we go. Oh, there's still some adhesive working there, so there we go. There's the whole unit out of there. And we're just going to put that aside for now. But that is the charge circuit and the battery pack, and we're going to connect directly to this battery pack. Now we have the bottom casing, and here you have the rubber seal all the way around it. I'm going to take that off for now. Just pulls off, and be gentle with it, don't break it, because if you do, then you've broken the water seal on it. It's like an O-ring. So let's just take off that rubber seal, put it aside, and then the front doors or front port covers, just peel off again. There we go. And now we have what I'm going to modify, which is the bottom case. what I'm going to do is drill out 2 holes approximately about here. So I'm going to put a hole on this side and another hole on the other side. And of course I'm drilling out the bottom case. And there's a reason for that, because there's more space on the bottom. So I'm going to drill a hole here, and again corresponding on the other side, and it's going to be of a slightly smaller diameter than this screw I'm using. So whatever screw you use, just make sure you make it a smaller diameter than the screw, because you want this to actually thread into the plastic. Also, as you can see here on my screw, I have an O-ring at the top. That's for sealing it. Also, I'm going to use a little bit of silicone. Actually, I got an O-ring on both sides, so I really don't think I even need any silicone here. You can use some if you want to seal it even better, but just the O-rings and the thread itself going through the plastic, I'm going to assume that's going to be enough to seal it and make it water resistant. And up to you if you do any more than that. And after I'm done doing the drilling, I'm going to put these bolts through the case, and they're going to be my attaching points for an alligator clip that's going to go to my charger. So I'm just going to basically clip onto that and charge them directly. Okay, but let's first drill this. So if you have a drill, just drill it through. I'm going to do that myself, and I'll show you the drill then. And then I'm going to thread this bolt through and finish up the mod. Right, got a couple holes drilled through, one on this side, one on that side. Now I'm just going to thread these bolts through that hole with the O-ring on the top, and basically drive it all the way home. So there, I've got the 2 bolts through. Yeah, they're not perfect, so what? They'll do the job. And basically, if you can see here, you see the O-ring on the outside sealing that bolt. On both sides I have the same thing. So at this point I've got my 2 contact points, and what I'm going to use those bolts for is, just like I showed you before, is to hook up my alligator clips to the outside world and to my charger, so that I can directly power up the battery bank, or charge up the battery bank. My plan here is to connect the negative and the positive leads to these 2 bolts I'm just going to solder them on there, and then I'm going to take 2 leads from those 2 bolts, from the negative to the negative on the charge circuit, and from the positive to the positive on the charge circuit, and therefore giving me the ability to use the charge port to charge the battery bank, or the 2 outside posts using my LiPro charger. So let's get at that. I'm going to tin the leads on these wires just to make sure that I get nice contact with that bolt. There we go, 2 nicely tinned leads. We're ready to start assembling this battery pack, putting it back together. Alright, I've got the orientation correct for the wire. I'm using if you look at here on the circuit board, on the flip side of the circuit board, you'll see that it says positive there, and we're going to the red lead, which is the positive going to the battery. So that is the right post where we want it, and we will screw that down, and solder that down and see how that works. I've got my forceps on that actual bolt to act as a heat sink. I don't want to melt the plastic on the outside, and this will hopefully carry some of the heat away from the bolt when I'm soldering, and it's not touching any of the plastic, so it should be okay. Let's see what happens. There we go, nice bolt, nice blob of solder on there. That's wires on there tight. We'll do the same on the other side next. Same procedure on the other side. Okay, got good adhesion there. Next, we're going to put the 2 red leads that we just made onto those same posts, and then solder them onto the charging circuit. All right, let's solder the positive lead on there. Let that cool down a little bit. Test the adhesion. Yep, nice and solid on both leads. That's not going anywhere. So Now we got both leads onto the bolts. Yep, nice. Frankenstein mod is taking shape there. See the bolts on the outside. So next I'm going to put the two leads to the circuit board. And notice I gave myself lots of wire there to make this job much easier to put away when we're putting it back together. Alright, this is the negative side going in. Seem to have a problem with a hole there. I'm going to have to drill that out a little bit. Try the negative side one more time. See what that looks like. Yeah, good adhesion there. Put a little more solder on that just to make sure. Yeah, she's good. Next we do the negative side, and then we put the whole unit back together again. I said the negative side, well that's the one we just did. This is the positive side, so let's just... Here we go. Now we can put it all back together again and test it. Okay, when putting this back together again, the biggest trick is getting that LED through that hole correctly. And I find that going at a large angle and then just sort of angling it in to the hole is the best way. And you don't want to force anything or bend anything. So I've got it in there and carefully gonna push it through. Alright, I got the circuit board properly positioned, everything's good. If you look here, you see that the LEDs all the way through, all the charge ports are nice and ready to go. So next, just test it by pressing the button. We see all 4 LEDs show up and the power light is on, so everything's working just as it should be. Let's shut this down. Actually, let's just check the LED out. Yep, it's working. Good. Turn off the light here. Perfect, just as it should be. Nice and bright. We're done with that. Next, we got to put the screw back in the center here for the circuit board, and then reassemble the whole unit. But the rubber seal has to go on as well. I just realized, but not too late, that the rubber seal goes underneath the circuit board, so I'm going to pull the circuit board back up and then put the rubber seal on, and then put the circuit board back on again. Alright, I've got all the rubber seals properly mounted. First one was the doors. They go first, and then the rubber seal all the way around the case. It's nicely fitted through all the little slots on the sides. And now we can put the circuit board back in with being careful with the LED going into that hole. And then we screw down the circuit board and rebuild the unit. Right, we've got the screw in, everything is secure. I'm going to test this out here to make sure we've got, actually I'm just going to put the cover on it, then I'm going to test it out. So top cover next. I got the case properly clipped together, and next we're going to put the 4 screws and the 4 rubber stoppers on top. Okay, all 4 screws and the rubber plugs are all in the corners. The seal is nice all the way around. So let's put the skirt back on it, the rubber skirt, and then we're going to test it out. Oh, nice and nice. And maybe you get an idea why I call it the Frankenstein mod, because there's 2 bolts sticking out here like they are on Frankenstein. You'll see 2 bolts to jump start them. So basically my positioning of these 2 bolts on both sides are primarily to make sure that they don't, if you laid it down on most surfaces, they wouldn't short with each other. So if you put this on a metal surface, as you can see, on the bottom, it won't touch the bottom and won't conduct. So let's see what it works like as far as charging goes. And both charging it internally and using the charge ports as well. All right, I'm just going to test and see what kind of voltage we're getting at the bolts. 4.23 volts, and if you ever forget what polarity one bolt is or the other, you can always hook up the meter to it and it will tell you whether it's which side's positive and which one's negative by the display. And I can tell you right now the bottom is a positive and the top is the negative. So the micro USB charge port is still working. As you can see, 4 LEDs with it plugged in. Let's see what happens when we try and charge something with the normal 2 amp, I believe. Yeah, 2 amp port. Press the button. Yep, still charging. So I got a fairly well charged unit that I'm on there. So 0.675, 673, 74. Perfectly acceptable there. So let's try the other port. What the heck? Still working, so good. Charge ports are on and functioning. So next, we're going to try and see if we can, not try, we're going to hook it up to my LiPo charger and charge it up using 2 amp program instead of the 1 amp charge port. Alright, I got it properly connected there. And understand that if you do this mod, those 2 leads are always hot. In other words, there's always electricity going to those 2 leads. They're not protected, so there's no protection circuitry in them. They're straight to the battery, so understand that. But that's what I wanted. So let's go to this lithium-ion program. We're on it, and we want to do a 2 amp charge, yes, but it's not a 2 cell, so we're going to take this down. Oh, I'm on the wrong program. That's what my problem is. Lithium-ion charge. There we go. 2 amp, fine. It's a 1 cell. Okay, so 3.6 volts is what I'm supposed to have there. Hopefully you guys can read that. And let's start the charging. Confirm it, and off we go. And, you know, as you saw, the battery pack is pretty well fully charged at this point anyway, so I don't expect there to be too much. I mean, the voltage here is reading 4.20, so basically a full charge on those cells. I'm gonna have to drain the pack and then see how long it takes to charge this way. I'm sure it'll be a lot quicker though, because it will take a 2 amp charge at this point. Well, here's the results from my full discharge to charge using the Frankenstein mod, or the Franken mod that I made on this thing, the 2 bolts that I installed into the power pack. And you can see that I got 10,476 milliamp hours, well within spec for this power pack. Actually, the spec is 10,400 milliamps, so I got 76 milliamps more. The total time was 21,123 seconds, and if you do the math on that, and I have, that's 352 minutes, or 5.86 hours. In other words, I took the 12-hour time that it took to charge this using the micro USB charge port that comes with the Simian, and divided it by 2. Basically, half the time that it takes to charge the power pack, which puts it, you know, in line perfectly with my Anchor power core, which also has a 2 amp charge port. So it actually charged a little bit faster than this. This is a 6 plus hours to do, and I'm very happy with my mod, and that it, you know, basically took my time to charge this fully from fully depleted to 5 hours and 52 seconds. Very happy with that. So let's take a look at the charge graphs just for fun here. You can see here I used 2.2 amps to charge it at. That's my rate that I set my LiPo charger at. And there's the graph all the way across. And it's pretty well steady all the way across until it gets to about, I don't know, just past 14,000 seconds. And then it just drops off all the way down to 0, as it's designed to do. Let's take a look at the voltage chart. And you can see that, you know, it starts off low and works its way up, you know, to the full 4.20 volts, which is the max I put into it. Then it goes flatline from 14,000 seconds or so to the end of the charge cycle. Still very happy. 5 hours, 52 minutes. That's great. So next, I'm going to show you some of the interesting side effects of me modding it this way, because there were some pet peeves I had with the Simian power pack, and actually this mod fixes all of them. So I'm going to show you that next. So I've got it fully charged here. You can see finished, and it says 0 milliamps hours. That means there's just no more that you could put into it. So here's some of the quirks that you get with this. I'm just going to disconnect it here quickly. And just hit the button, and you see I got two charge lights. So you think it'd be fully charged, but it's not. The charge circuit has not registered that the battery is fully charged. And the only way to get it to do that, from what I can tell anyway, is to hook it up to a USB wall charger, or to a charger with USB, the micro USB port, and you see that it instantly goes up to 4. Okay, so it sort of needs to be set through the charging port to get those bars to give you the right reading. Now, small quirk, but you should be aware of it so that you don't keep thinking, hey, I'm not fully charged when you're hitting that button. You gotta hit it. You have to use the micro USB charge port and a little bit of charge into it to have it reset to the correct amount. The little quirk, but not a big one. Now, one of the quirks I found with this thing also, other than the 1 amp charge port, is that you cannot. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Well, let's turn it on here. Okay, you can see I got power here. You cannot charge the power pack and then use at the same time use the power pack to charge something else. I noticed that's the same with my Anchor power pack. So let me just plug it in here to show you what happens. Just shuts off. There's nothing there. I'll hit the button. Nothing. So it won't let you charge it while it's charging through the micro USB port. Take it off the micro USB port, automatically turns back on. I don't know why they do that, but both the Anchor and this Simian do the same thing. They won't allow you to charge while you are you're charging the power unit itself. But here's something really neat. With the Frankenstein mod that I have here, we'll just hook it up. Negative to the bottom, positive to the top. And I'm just going to initiate a charge here. And you can see that it's going to start. I'll hit the start. There we go. Now we're charging. Look at this. It will charge while I'm charging through these posts. So at this point I could hook it up to another device. And while I'm charging it, here we go. Let me hit the button again. There we go. While it's charging, I can use it to charge something else. And it works both in the 1 amp port and the 2 amp port. I'll show you that. There we go. Still working. Now the small charge amount is because I'm putting it into the Anchor power pack and it's fully charged. So it's basically trickling in there at this point. But it works fully exactly as it's supposed to. While charging, you can use it to charge other devices. Okay, so as long as you're using a LiPro charger at the correct setting, which is 3.7 volts, 1 cell, and basically emulating the charging of an 18650 cell, this works great. So there's a small little quirk with the charge LEDs that you can quickly fix by plugging the micro USB port into it and micro USB charge cord into it and charging it up. That resets the battery level, and you get this major bonus of being able to charge the power pack while using it to charge something else. And as you can see, it's already fully charged anyway, but continues to rock and roll over here. The second we take it off and try and charge it with, I'm going to just use the Simian here, inside the Anchor here. Put the Anchor on it. The second we plug it in, that will shut that off. We'll do that right now. There we go. And I see I can hit that button all I want. It tells me it's fully charged, but I got nothing on the power port. Take it off and hit charge on this. There we go, we're charging again, and it will work. It will charge. So another bonus about having the Frankenstein mod, the bolts that I put in here, is that you can charge it at 2.2 as I did, and you know, simultaneously use the ports to charge something else while you're charging the pack. Pretty neat. I wish that was the case with a micro USB port, but both the Anchor and the Simian do the same thing. The second you plug it in to be charged on the micro USB port, the regular USB port stops all operation. That's it for my video on modifying the Simian Power Up 10,400 milliamp hour power bank, and I called it the Frankenstein mod, and for obvious reasons. But regardless, if you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a favor, click on the like button here in the bottom right hand corner and give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. It helps my channel and it helps my videos. Also, somewhere here on the screen you should see a picture of me, and that'll be a link to subscribe to my channel. Just click on that link, and then you'll get a notification every time that I put a new video up, and you can watch it at your leisure. Once again, like always, I want to thank you for your time and for watching.